name and your position, please?
I'm Tom Okel, and I'm the FSQA manager.
Awesome. Who is it you work for?
Aspire Bakeries.
Awesome. How long have you been working for Aspire?
12 years.
12 years now? Nice. What did you start out as here?
I started out as a line technician at a different location, and then eventually got promoted and moved down to this location.
Nice. Nice, dude. So, do you have anything you had to say personally about Weavix, likes, dislikes, anything like that?
It's been a fantastic tool for the quality team. We utilize it across all 3 shifts. It gives me visibility into the bakery from home. On the off shifts, I can communicate directly with my team. They utilize the photo feature a lot in my team. We take pictures of the products, we take pictures of the tests so we can see them live. And it helps not just me, it helps the operations teams in the bakeries, the shipping team, so they can kind of get a feedback on what exactly are we doing live.
Wow, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. So you're a big mobile app user?
I was
Yes.
just going to say, yeah, Devin gave us a tour, and the first thing that I noticed was the facility is absolutely massive.
Yes.
Would you say that the ability to send photos and images, makes it a lot quicker to actually, communicate across the facility?
Yes, it does. I mean, we switched from radios that only worked within the facility because we have a no cell phone policy for our team members on the floor. So for me to get in touch with my team on 3rd shift, I didn't have supervision on that shift. I just had technicians. I had to try and call a supervisor in a different department to get into the bakery to get to my team. Now I can directly go right to that person through the Weavix system.
Great, thank you.
Nice, man. Real quick, now you're loosened up. All right, so what's your name and title, sir?
All right, I'm Tom Okel. I am the FSQA manager. I've worked here for 12 years at Aspire Bakeries.
There it is. You wanna take it?
Yeah, definitely. Could you just tell me, what you really like about using the Walt system and what has been helpful to your team?
The biggest thing that's been helpful is the photo features and being able to access my team no matter where I'm at, no matter what time of day. We are a 24/7 facility, so I get that live feedback from my team. All of their checks, all of the quality inspections, I see live. It not only helps me, it helps all the other bakery teams in the facility as well. So operations gets directly live feedback of what is exactly going on their lines that they did not have before. We went from a hardwired system that was only in-house to this new Weavix system, and it's just been an incredible change for our bakery.
That's awesome. And just out of curiosity, when you're off-site, are you primarily using it via the Walt radio, or using it via the mobile app, maybe the desktop console?
It's all through the mobile app for me.
Okay, great, thank you.
I got a quick question for you. If you guys were to just get rid of Weavix tomorrow, what would you guys need to do in terms of processes and changes to make up for that?
That would be a lot of process change. Because like I said, we don't allow cell phone usage on our bakery floor. So we would have to go back to our old radio system. Our old radio system had a lot of gaps in the bakery, a lot of communication issues. Language barrier, that would be the biggest change. The Weavix system really solves the language barrier issue for us here.
And roughly, what percentage of your employees here speak a language other than English as their first language?
I believe it's about 80%.
Okay, wow.
Wow, it's huge.
Yes. Yeah, mostly Spanish.
Okay.
What improvements could you see to Weavix?
Since Weavix, we see quicker response times for quality issues, mechanical issues, things of that nature. We see just better communication between the team members in general because the team members can actually interact through language barriers now. So you see a lot more chatter in that regard. We've seen great quality improvements since that time, reduction in holds, other things that most certainly are helped by these communication fixes.
That's fantastic. That's great. That's awesome. Devin was telling me I come from operation style manufacturing stuff, and I was curious because he said that the turn down time if a line goes down is like 30 to 45 minutes. Have you guys noticed any kind of speed using the Weavix system, maybe to identify an issue at the line to get it up and running faster?
Yes, it does, especially with that camera feature.
Yeah.
Because you could take the pictures and there's no more questioning. Whereas you lose that time. You could directly go to those areas. You know exactly what to hit, and then when it's resolved, you also see the resolution right there live.
That's awesome. Very cool. Do you have any more questions that you want to lead into for?
Yeah, I think just really around the size of the facility. I mean, that was the thing that I was most just surprised surprised by was just how huge it is. And I mean, I'm guessing that you have employees that you're working with that are, you know, hundreds of yards away from each other sometimes.
Yes.
And I'm guessing that can be a huge time saver by, you know, being able to do that. Could you give me maybe an example of how that allows you to communicate, or how Walt allows you to communicate directly with somebody across the facility kind of in real time?
So if an error or an issue is brought to my attention, even not by my team, you know, I'm able to immediately drop in, and I could push right to that individual person. That way, I can always get to that individual person. If I need to do my whole team, I can send it out to my whole team. That's as far as specific examples go. You know, usually it's related to mechanical issues. So the line went down, my team has questions about product quality when the line goes down. And then how did we respond to that? We can put that all in one chain, everybody can see it, and then, you know, that way even when you get to shift transitions, they can look back at what we did and what decisions were made, so it kind of gives them the full knowledge of what happened on the previous shift.
That's great to hear. Yeah, we have a lot of customers saying that, you know, when they come in for the morning, they like to kind of read the recap from, you know, maybe third shift the night before and kind of see what happened.
I build my reports daily based on, I go back through we have a quality channel specifically, and I'll go back through the quality channel and I will build everything from there.
How did you do it before?
I would have to get a bunch of different reports every day from multiple departments, including mine. There were no pictures. So it was just going on what people wrote down. So, you know, pictures are much better when it comes to assessing quality of a product when it comes to artisan breads.
100%.
Yeah, I gotta say, man, it's really awesome to hear how dynamic you are utilizing this. It's really cool. It's really cool to hear that.
Yeah, they gave us the technology and we kind of went with it and wanted to utilize it to its full potential.
Awesome,
That's
dude.
great to hear.
Awesome. Is there any improvements you would like to see to Weebix? Any kind of features or things like that?
Small improvements to maybe some of the dialects in Spanish would help. And then maybe some improvements to the camera, maybe a better camera in the system overall.
Okay, awesome. I know we've heard, I know Brandon touched on, you know, reaching people from across the facility and stuff, and I know we've heard, Devin was telling us about, and we experienced it going into the freezer area.
Mhm.
You know, obviously you got the liners all up, and so it's kind of messing with networking. I think after talking with Devin, if we could figure out a network solution for that area, I think you guys would have 100% coverage here.
The only area that my team has had issues with is our donut line, but I think they've resolved it since.
Okay, awesome.
But that's the only area where we sometimes get hiccups where the signal doesn't go through.
Okay.
So, but I think that's more on our end with the networking.
Yeah.
That's, from what I've heard, that's what it seems to be.
That's what it usually is. We were
Yeah.
helping Gallagher earlier, and she was having questions because she was having issues. And of course, you know, we made the joke, well, now that we're here, it's going to work, and it was. And so we addressed what that is network. Like, if the network's not fast enough.
And that was probably my lead. My lead utilizes Weebix in a little bit of a different way than I do. She has the portal, the desktop portal, as access to that. So what she does for me, I'll go through and I'll identify pictures of things that we want to save for further trainings, and she has been exporting them from the desktop app. And we are making trainings based on live photos of things that are occurring. That way, when we do a training, it's not a generic photo from some bakery somewhere else in the country. It's actually here, and that helps our team really be able to visualize and learn the trainings better.
Dude, that's fantastic.
Could you-
Awesome.
My next question was, I know you've been here for a long time, and it sounds like you've been using Walt for about a year or so. Could you talk about how you train new employees, as I'm sure you all are, you know, hiring people, you know, constantly, and kind of what that looks like, and, you know, do you think it helps them get onboarded, you know, quicker to Aspire?
Most certainly. It gives, especially on my off shifts, it gives them that direct line to their supervisor and their manager. So as they're training with, you know, their coworkers or their lead, if they run into something where they just don't quite understand, they're able to directly direct a message to me, to my supervisors, and get the answers they need in real time.
Awesome.
That's fantastic. I'm trying to think. Would you recommend Weebix for other industries like what you guys are in, food and bev?
Most certainly.
Yeah.
I think it's a wonderful tool, especially with the language barrier, and it's a very good way to streamline that live feed to your process and to be in communication with your team at any time.
That's awesome. Do you guys ever have to run any type of evacuation drills or fire drills or anything like that?
We do.
Have you guys utilized isolation, like isolating specific departments for drills versus having the whole building?
Not yet.
It's a fun little tool. We have a client that was on a construction site, and 700 men on site around the clock, and they isolated specific groups of contractors. And just to give you a tidbit, 300 people in 15 minutes from the time the alarm was sent to the time the head count was done right there in live look on the console. So it's maybe something you guys can kind of try out too.
I'll have to pass it by Shakay.
Yeah. Oh, we'll have her at
She would be the one leading all of the evacuation procedures.
Yeah.
But.
I was just curious, if you've been a part of it yet. If you guys have done it.
Not through Weavix yet, but I know we've started utilizing forms in the Weavix system for nominations for our food safety heroes and for our safety heroes. So now the team members on the floor can actually submit live the applications through the system.
And we just updated our capabilities in that last week. I'm more on the product side, so yeah, we just have some more enhancements for that last week. And then we were telling them earlier, we're also working, all of our AI translation goes through Microsoft, but we just released more dialects as well. So
Awesome.
it's kind of, as de facto, it's Mexican, Spanish, but we have Puerto Rican and Cuban, lots of other dialects that have been released recently or will be getting released shortly. So that should be improving over time as well.
Yeah, we also have French Creole here.
Okay.
That's another big population in our bakery.
Okay, that's good to know. I'll put that in my notes.
That's awesome.
I have to double check on that one.
Which I can tell it's French. That's where it ends. It's very different than the French I'm used to hearing from like French Canadians.
Oh, I gotcha.
I can imagine. I will put that in my notes. Thank you.
Have you played with the radios?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I have it on the mobile app. All my supervisors and managers are on the mobile app, and the units are used at our hourly tech level. I like the radio so far. They're durable. We've had no issues. I know that was a concern bringing them in, was farm material issues. There is no more risk with these than there is with a traditional radio. It's the same amount of risk. They're the same materials, and they hold up very well. Our team can be rough on tools, and we have not had any break. So.
Oh wow, that's great. Yeah, they are hard to destroy. They're not. If you put a fork over it, lift over it may happen. But have you had to return any? We have our WeCare, which basically is free returns included. I didn't know if you've had to go through that process with any so far.
We had one that had a software issue,
Okay.
and I believe Shakay returned that one.
Okay, great.
Man. Well, you got anything you want to say? Anything like that, man?
No, I mean, it's a great tool. I'm glad that we invested in this technology, and it's really helped my team out, and it's helping my team grow.
That's awesome.
It's great to hear.
Do you think it's helped kind of build your guys' culture a little bit here?
It is definitely improving culture. The communication barrier we had before was definitely holding us back in certain ways with culture. Now that the teams can work cross-functionally pretty seamlessly, that really helps improve the culture. You get that better reporting out of the team, faster results, and it helps improve the whole process from start to end.
That's awesome, man.
It's great to hear.
We're good, dude. We're good. You slayed it. You did so good.
Very
Thomas.
efficient.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you need to go, bro.
Well, thank you so much.
Of course.
It was really nice to meet you.
Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate it.
Of
man.
course.
I'm a DJ. I do that on the side. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. You said you did that for what, Christmas party or something?
I do it year round.
Yeah?
Year
Okay.
round. Yeah.
Brandon, let's take that mic, scoot it towards your way real quick.
Just the very next one.
The whole scene. Perfect. Right there. You're out of frame. Now just swing the arm back over towards him. Perfect. Awesome. So yeah, just make it real quick. Just
Okay.
casual. We're just having a conversation.
Okay.
So can you state your name, position, how long you've been with the company, what company you work for?
Okay. My name is Devin Glenn. I work for the Aspire Bakery. I am the EHS supervisor, and I've been here approximately 4 months.
Very nice. Brandon, take the floor, man.
Yeah, definitely. So, could you just tell me about how your role has been impacted by Walt, and what are some of the benefits that you've seen directly from using Walt?
Well, first of all, I like the fact that it's very versatile. It involves an accountability piece. Basically, I was saying it's like a radio with an accountability. So when you have people that make transmissions to other departments and they say they didn't receive it or they don't have a date timestamp of when it happened, the WeavX shows when you sent it and also their response time and what they actually said. So I love it, the fact, like say, it's a walkie-talkie with the accountability piece. And also, I love about it, it has a mapping system where you can find somebody in case of emergency. Where I've seen, we have people like accidentally hit the emergency, the SOS button. So I immediately go on and check and make sure that, where they're located at. Then I can reach out and give them a call back. Are you okay? Are you okay? Was this an accident or was this an actual emergency? And if I don't get a response, then our next step is to engage to go out to the location where they're last seeing that.
That's awesome. Tom was telling us about his team, and he really enjoys the photo capabilities for your role being a safety focus. Have you been able to use the photo capabilities to help
Yes.
communicate and make your job easier?
Yes, I try to use it every day, and also the people like Quality. I get a lot of responses back from them with pictures about what the actual safety infraction is. So I love that because sometimes people can tell you about what's happening on the floor or what safety situation that they see, but a picture is worth 1,000 words. So to have a picture with that narrative is great.
That's great to hear.
Fantastic. You're solid, bro.
All right.
Like I said, when you said that out there on the floor, what's your name, what do you do, and how long have you been here, sir?
All right, my name is Michael Bowman. I'm Senior Operations Manager, Swedesboro Bakery, Line 1 and 2. I've been with the plant for about 9 months now. Really enjoying every minute of it.
What's your favorite part about working here?
It's always the people, so I like building teams, I like having teams, developing people, developing processes. I really like the culture that we're starting to build here. You can see some of the gains that we're making and some of the results that we're seeing. So it's all about the people in my perspective.
What do you think is kind of spurring your culture to spike up?
Well, I think we've made a lot of good hires recently. We have some really strong leaders. I think some of the leadership development things have been really nice to see. So from that perspective of everybody leading from the front is I think what's allowing us to make some of these gains. It's all about people, it's all about leadership, it's all about culture.
So what are your thoughts on weakness?
Well, I love the Walt. It honestly allows us to be rapid in our responses. Anytime you have to wait for information, you're waiting on pictures, you're waiting on data, waiting is waste. So we try not to be waiting on anything. So really that's what I appreciate the most about the Walt is that it's super rapid. You get in touch with somebody in a millisecond, everybody's allowed to have theirs on the floor. You can drive accountability to the front line, everybody's responsible for having one. Should be no incident that goes by where we're waiting for 10 minutes or waiting for 20 minutes. If you got the Walt, you've got a rapid response.
That's awesome, man. How much is the limited downtime?
I thought it's had a pretty big impact on downtime. It allows the whole team to cross-functionally get right out there and attack the problem where it's occurring. You don't have to guess. You can send pictures, you can send videos, you can send snapshots, you can send messages in both English and Spanish. It's really had a big impact for us.
Do you have like a first name now, like something where this is really figure out and have this?
Yeah, definitely with the some of the quality challenges that we have. So you can see, it might be at the oven or it might be at the proofer, it might be at the Rion. Taking real-time videos allows us for rapid response, and that's really the key with the Walt. So some of these quality issues I would point to as you don't have to guess with anything with Walt. You just take a picture, get the whole team out there. You can say specifically who you want to come out, and get the whole team out there if you need, and it allows us to all muster at one point specifically based on where the pictures are coming from, where the details come from.
If you guys had to get rid of events tomorrow, what would you have to do to get done with it?
Getting rid of Walt or transitioning out of it would be a big challenge for the plant. It would definitely make our downtime go up and make our quality go down, in my estimation, because not having that element of rapid response, not having the communication tools, it would be a large gap to fill. We'd have to think of some other way to do this, to fill this gap, and really don't want to think about it this time. I think we'll just keep rolling with what we have. The Walt works.
Brandon,
I do. I know you mentioned you all building out teams. This is a two-part question. Have you seen Walt help get your teammates onboarded faster? And then also, kind of, what do you see as the learning curve for Walt? When you hire someone, are they able to pick it up pretty quickly?
Absolutely. I'd see the learning curve going down when we use Walt, and that's all because of how it allows you to go back and track recent conversations and look at all the pictures and videos that we send every day. So for example, I was training somebody in one of our packing areas, and I was able to rapidly pull up a conversation that I had from yesterday right in the Walt log, and we were able to review exactly what I was talking about, what some of the other managers were talking about, and it made super easy to follow. So I do think it has helped our learning curve decrease a little bit. I don't know a good way to measure that, but seems like everybody's in alignment that Walt's really paid dividends when it comes to training and development.
When he answers the question, you can just keep looking at me.
Okay.
No,
Sorry.
you're not.
Yeah.
That's just about the size of the facility and how many employees.
What's the size of your guys' facility? How many employees do you guys have per shift?
Per shift, we have about 100 and, can you add that out?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm having trouble thinking here. It all depends, and honestly, we've had a lot of issues recently with just the law changes and things, so that's going to change. I actually wouldn't publish that because these are going to our shifts. Yeah, because it's gonna change, and people might be like, "That's not right. That's not accurate." Okay.
You're very surprised how much that is.
Yeah, going back to the languages, could you talk about, is there an example where you've seen Walt be able to allow people to communicate? Maybe somebody's a native Spanish speaker, maybe someone's a native French speaker, kind of put the different types of employees that you have to allow them to communicate.
Yes, absolutely. And actually, there's been instances where it's not everybody's good at understanding English. Not everybody's good at understanding Spanish. Walt really eliminates any of those gray areas. I can be standing next to somebody who has a hard time understanding English. I can speak into mine, and they can have theirs set up for Spanish, and it'll spit out a perfect description of what I said. So really leveraging that kind of technology out here on the floor has been invaluable for us.
How much work do you want to add? What kind of improvements would you want to see?
Kind of improvements. You know what? I think in terms of where we've been and where we're going, we're completely satisfied with what the Walt's provided us so far. I don't want to nitpick too much in terms of improvements of what Walt can do maybe in the future. That's a good question. It's something I'll have to circle back with you on. Yes, I use the mobile app, yes.
Have you had any instances where you were off-site and it was a huge benefit?
Yes, yeah. One thing I really like about the Walt is being able to tap in pretty much at any time of the day. So as an operations manager, anytime I get wind of that we are having issues, I'm able to eliminate any of the guessing. I can pull up the Walt right away, communicate with my team directly, even if it's 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 1 in the morning. It's great for safety. It's great for quality issues, things that we're all worried about and have really high impact. Instead of driving from Philadelphia into Swedesboro, I can hop on the Walt and I can get in touch with my team right away. So that's one of the huge advantages of Walt.
Do you use it kind of first thing, as you're getting ready for the war, you kind of see what happened in the next year?
That's 100%, yeah. So one thing that I do as part of my standard routine is hop on the Walt pretty much as I'm eating breakfast, right as I'm getting ready for work, because that'll allow me to have a record of exactly what went on in previous shifts and in previous hours. So somebody who reports incidents via phone call or via text, there's always more detail in Walt, so I just go right in there. It's part of my standard routine in the morning. All right. Good. Oh, thanks. Yeah, no, that's good.
So Nick, what do you think of Linux so far?
So far, it's a great system. We have had some minor issues here and there, but for the most part, it's a phenomenal system. Technology is unbelievable.
What's one of the biggest benefits of it so far?
For me as a supervisor, and most likely I'm going to assume for our managers as well, one of the biggest benefits is having that direct communication with the employees, whether you're on site or off site. Being able to get pictures, video, and information in real time is priceless.
If you guys had to get rid of Linux tomorrow, what would you guys do?
Ooh, that's a great question. I know prior to the WeVix, we were using the Motorola base radio type units. Um, they weren't necessarily the greatest, it's a great question. I really don't know.
Do you think there would be massive gaps to fill?
I definitely think we would have gaps. I definitely think the transition over for something different would be a gap. We have quite a few people in this building, quite a few departments that rely on them radios for communication purposes and stuff like that. So.
Stud, man. All right, man,
So one of the time saving functions of the radio, it allows my employees to be on one side of the building, me be on the other doing a different task. And if they've got questions or they need some understanding on something, they're able to send me a picture or video in real time, and I can go ahead and respond to them and work them through the problems. Saves a ton of time from walking from one side of the building to the other. We got an extremely large facility here, and it does take some time to get from point A to point B. So it's really a huge help and time saver when it comes to those type of things.
My next question was, we've heard from a couple people about, they're able to check in, when they're at home, on the weekends for issues. Have you used that capability to kind of, help you able to diagnose the problem, on your weekend and kind of check in with the site instead of having to drive over here?
Absolutely. So since we started using Walt, on my days off, I'm in direct communication with my team constantly. One of our policies and procedures around here is we're not allowed to have personal cell phones on the floor. So it's really good that the WeVix allows my people to talk to me in real time like a cell phone would, so that we can work out problems and issues and different things like that.
what's your favorite feature?
Ooh, I would say my favorite feature is the amount that you can do with the radio. The translation feature in itself is absolutely priceless. When you work in a building that has multiple languages and stuff like that, it makes communication night and day easier when it comes to communicating with people that don't necessarily speak the same language. It's a great system. I want to say my favorite part about the whole thing probably would be the universal use of it. The fact that I don't need to be on site, that I can be home to use it, that I can contact pretty much anybody that's on the roster and the list, not just specifically departments, but I can actually create groups and speak to individual people and speak to individual groups and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I know you're mostly using mobile app, but how's the vault held up for, the tough demands? I'm guessing they get, dropped and, cleaned up a little bit. How's it?
So for me, I got the company cell phone. I use that. Obviously, my phone is my tool I use the most in here, so I take extreme care of it, and I'm not in the situations my employees are in where they're on the floor actually into the workload itself. They've actually been pretty durable. They've held up really well. I've seen quite a few of them drop and pick up, and they're working great. Minor issues with some of the antennas. We have had quite a few radios where the antennas ended up getting broken off, but that's inevitable from a high fall or something like that. You're going to have some kind of damage. The unit itself, the casing, very durable, held up. The screen's very durable and held up. So I would say it's definitely a well-built unit.
We both work really closely with our product and engineering team. If you had a wish list, is there something that you thought about that, hey, if only the Walt did this, something that maybe it's missing?
Oh man, I'll tell you, the only thing you guys are really missing are like certain features like apps or something. Like if I could get some sort of a calculator or something along the lines of like a notepad so that I can put notes in there like reminders or different things. Things like that I think would be ideal and really useful and a good resource. Even if you guys kind of put it in like an app store type situation where you can download certain apps that are for different businesses or jobs that would help out other than just the communication purposes, I think that would be unbelievable. I think that'd be really good.
much does it help you speed up and with your document sanitation and help with accountability too?
Definitely with accountability. It is a phenomenal tool when it comes to verification purposes. So I can send my team to an area of the building and I can say, give me some before and after pictures of the area you guys are assigned to clean. And they'll go over there and they'll send pictures of before and after. The beauty about the system is not only can I see the pictures, but also the rest of the management team and anybody else that's on the radio can also see that area that it's been addressed, cleaned, or if there's a problem such as a leak, you can notify everybody at one time. Trying to get information to everybody in this building, especially with the size of it, it's a little tough. Weavex makes that extremely simple. Walt makes that extremely simple.
Yeah, we have the first one. We don't have a calculator yet, but that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think it's good.
The first one there isn't as good.
What's your guys' main market?
We do a lot of food and beverage. So I mean, manufacturing. We do a little bit of construction. We work with like some of the airline companies. Really manufacturing.
Yeah.
We work best, when people are kind of inside the construction of the yards, things like that. But a lot of manufacturing.
So we have different apps in here that we use for different things. Like for instance, we have one app that allows us to do internal audits, whether it be a safety audit, a equipment audits. That kind of stuff's extremely helpful when you're out on the floor and on the fly. It also eliminates a lot of paper.
What are the companies that y'all are using? So you're saying if we did like an integration with like that?
In a sense, so like we use I believe the one is called Intellex. And Intellex will let us submit like tickets or issues. If there's an accident, it'll let you do the investigation form, stuff like that. That stuff is really key in this kind of line of work. Being able to have everything on you in a small compact unit, one-stop shop for everything, really beneficial. Stuff like that I think would be really a big sell for something like that, in my opinion.
That's something we're actively looking to do.
Yeah. I don't care what anybody says. When they sold the Sprint lost it. They couldn't keep the technology running like Nextel could, and it just wasn't as good. It wasn't as the track record on it. Nextel, I don't care where you keyed up, that person got it crystal clear. Sprint, you were having issues, hiccups, different stuff like that. I've worked for Nextel in the past, and like I said, Motorola is they're not the greatest company, so to say, when it comes to their equipment's performance, the longevity of it, and customer service is absolutely horrible. But if I had to push a radio on anybody, I would probably try to get the Waltz into my company or sell the Waltz versus Motorola radio any day of the week.
What's your worst experience with Motorola customer service?
So we were in a situation where at the time, so we did the antenna sites, the cell sites. We were in a situation where we had 45 different BR chassis come in. They were supposed to be being sent to New York City. They were actually going to go on the World Trade Center. This was before 9/11 hit. And all the units came in and none of them were tooled right. None of them were configuration right, I guess, if that's the correct word for it. And we reached out, we contacted them, we notified them, and they basically should have took them back and sent us the correct stuff. Instead, they told us to get our IT people to figure it out and get the IT guy to do it. So you got 40 BR chassis that are supposed to go out the door today to get to this site immediately that they need them. And it ended up taking probably almost a month for our IT guy to go through, reprogram all these BR chassis and everything else. And we're kind of your biggest customer here. We're sending out and installing your stuff, and the fact that you kind of just left us to the wolves like that wasn't a good thing. But yeah, haven't had too many good experiences with Motorola in the past, to be honest with you. So you guys breath of fresh air. I'm telling you, man. Like you guys are a game changer. Yeah, absolutely, man.
And another thing, I just want to make sure you're aware. So maybe your supervisors on the weekend. Anybody can reach out to live support on here. So
Oh, okay.
if
Nice.
there's an issue, so you can tell your team, and we have 24/7 basically.
Perfect.
US based support too. So
Nice.
if you have an issue, hey,
Now, will that connect you to somebody live right away?
somebody will be in touch with you.
Okay.
At 2 a.m. it might be a couple minutes. but
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
We got people on call tomorrow. So
Awesome. Nice. Nice.
it's all US based too.
You guys got a really good thing going here. For me, with you guys, sky's probably the limit, especially with the new technology, the AI coming out. Oh, capabilities are endless right now. The translation feature is just unbelievable. That is literally a game changer for everything, man. That makes life in an area where you got multiple languages being spoke. It makes life so much easier. Cameras, picture features. Can't say enough good things about them. It has cut a lot of time out of our already busy schedules. Being able to address things and handle things without physically being there or wasting that downtime walking back and forth between areas. Lose a lot of time in getting from point A to point B, so it really significantly cuts down on that time and allows issues to be addressed immediately versus waiting and getting worse or something like that. So extremely good company. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Pleasure. We really appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Logue. I work for Aspire Bakeries. I'm the Senior Manager of Maintenance and Utilities and been here for 15 months.
Awesome, great to hear. Can you tell me a little bit about your role specifically? What are the main things that you're responsible for, and then also how you found Walt to be helpful in achieving your role?
My role consists of managing all of maintenance and all of utilities, and that means that I'm responsible for all the equipment in and outside the building. The Walt really helps because of the communication. We have to be in every area of the building, whether it's on the roof or even inside on the production floor. Communication's key for maintenance in order to give good response and also to be able to give good customer service.
Great, thank you for the explanation. Can you talk about, I know you mentioned before about kind of the accountability and also about downtime. Can you talk about how Walt is going to potentially help in some of those areas?
Yeah, sure. So the Walt has a time and date stamp, whether it's pictures or texts, and that allows us to be able to match up our critical downtime events and how long it really lasted or didn't last. Also, we know when something broke down, when it was fixed, and if we have to do any kind of documentation on it, it makes it a lot easier.
What are some of the things, do you have a real life example of how Walt has, helped resolve an issue quicker or, really helped with some of this he said, she said things in accountability?
Sure. A picture speaks 1,000 words, right? So when production sometimes calls and says that maintenance hasn't responded, we have maintenance guys that actually take pictures of being on location and at what time. So again, that helps with the accountability, so I do not have to reinforce anything with my team.
If you guys had to get rid of Remix tomorrow, what would that gap be filled?
One of the biggest gaps, honestly, is being able to translate, especially Spanish. In our departments, we have a large Spanish-speaking population, so the translation ability makes it very easy. If we go back to using our standard Motorola radios, we lose that. And then now there's a lot of misunderstanding and lost communication.
What are your thoughts on Motorola radios?
They were good back in the day, right? But they don't work on Wi-Fi. You have to have repeaters everywhere to get good coverage, and their batteries, are totally different. Don't necessarily last quite as long, but you also don't have the feature of being able to find someone if they're down.
I worked in oil and gas for years, so onshore, offshore. I've had been scenarios where I myself has been in a spot 100 feet up, stuck basically, because I have to have a guy on the ground, one radio
Absolutely.
You know, my biggest issues with Motorola is they don't warranty their stuff. You just gotta buy it every time.
Exactly. Price point's key, right? Anybody that's in the industry nowadays know that we face money crisis in certain situations. So being able to have something at a price point that works and that's efficient, that's great.
Do you think it has a, you could probably quantify a time saving, how much time does it save you guys in maintenance?
Sure. So being able to have that faster reaction, especially with the translation, we now understand what we're going to go and do and what we're going to go and fix. So we can bring tools, be already equipped and ready to perform the job instead of getting there and assessing. Most of the assessment's already done between the pictures and the explanation.
Yeah, I can imagine. So I think Tom told us that this site is 500,000 square feet.
Yes.
So I mean, I can only imagine how long it would take to get from one end to the other. So if you all can, diagnose and bring the right tools, that has to be just incredible.
Absolutely. And that's critical for us. We need to make sure the equipment runs and runs efficiently.
Like I said, you'll be more in line with this. They were telling us that when a line goes down, it's usually between 30 and 45 minutes.
Roughly.
You think it would probably, now you guys are able to identify visually what the problem is on the line. And generally, is that going to cut down downtime?
So right now, and it's just kind of rough numbers that we've put together, I would say that we probably hit, an 8% increase in reaction time. And so that's good, which reverses back to an 8% decrease in the downtime, because production can send us a picture of the belt that broke instead of us having to go out and identify the belt. Now we can come with what we need to repair.
Would you recommend relays for other industries similar to this?
Actually, yeah. I've been in the food industry and oil and gas industry myself now for over 25 years. And I could see this equipment being used in multi-functions. One good thing about it, explosion proof, right? So that can go in a lot of places.
Is there a certain feature maybe that you haven't talked about that you really like? I mean, one example we have, a lot of people love the flashlight. There's some other kind of smaller features that people just really use on their daily life.
So yeah, the flashlight's helpful, right? Especially if you're not wanting to carry around a lot of items. Not everybody carries a flashlight on them, so it makes it quick and convenient. The ability, again, to be able to take pictures, but also to take notes, right? I challenge my maintenance staff to always have details in their reports. So sometimes they can't carry a pen or paper out on the production floor, but what they can carry is their radio. So now with that notebook function or the note function on the wall, they can put everything right there and come back to it later at the end of their shift.
That's awesome. I know you mentioned that you primarily use the mobile app. Do you use that, on the weekends, on your days off? Do you use that to check on, things going on at the facility that you get alerted about?
So yeah, I do. I don't let everybody know that, right? But no, it's very good. When I do hear it going off or notifying me, and it seems like it's doing it a lot, then I know that there's a conversation going on. I've got managers that they do their jobs very well, but I like to also stay abreast. I like to have the information before everybody else does. So between barbecuing or cutting the grass, I do occasionally look at it, and I just like to know.
Have you had any issues that you've been able to resolve from home when so many people?
Sure. So a lot of conversations sometimes come up on whether or not we have equipment or making decisions, and especially on the weekend when the staffing may be a little bit low. You have more people that are available to communicate and bounce ideas across each other, because sometimes people forget. And in me being in the position that I'm in, downtime's critical. So I'm watching if decisions aren't made in a timely manner, I definitely jump in and get involved. And when I can get involved on the wall or on my cell phone, it makes life totally easier.
You're top notch. You're very well spoken, dude. I love how you think out everything you're saying. It's awesome.
Thank you. Now, You want the negatives.
Yeah, we'd love to hear anything, anything that's not working today, anything that you thought of, be like, I wish it did X, Y, and Z. Like, we'd love to hear that feedback.
So, from a maintenance standpoint, right, we give the radios a lot of abuse. The Motorola's, they got abused constantly. Think about the cost point when we were breaking Motorola's. The Weavix now, most common problems we see is it coming off of either the belt or some of the guys wear the clip on their pocket, which they really shouldn't do. And they'll fall, they'll hit, the screen gets cracked sometimes. A lot of times the maintenance guys kind of complain about that because the durability. Doesn't have really a lot of capability of dropping and not being damaged. So to me, that probably could be a little bit of improvement.
What clips are you all using? Do you have these clips yet?
Yes.
You do? Okay.
Yes.
These are supposed to be better than the previous ones for not falling.
So if it's a full cuff over a belt loop,
It works.
those are a little bit more secure. At least for maintenance, right? They're not easily removable, which could be a kind of a safety concern if you got hung up or stuck somewhere. But in reality, I'd rather them place the radio in a safer place and be able to hold on to it. They shouldn't be wearing it in their pockets anyway, or shouldn't be wearing it on a cuff or anything like that. But durability, I think, is probably the biggest room for improvement.
Is there anything on your wish list from a feature perspective? Anything that, like, hey, I really wish we could use this?
Be careful. The integration, so AI now is growing leaps and bounds. From a time-saving perspective for maintenance, if we could find a way to integrate that with our CMMS system, that now takes everything to the next level. Because you talk about time-saving, you can take a picture, and that picture can be identified in your computer system. We don't have to start looking for part numbers. We don't have to look up a parts manual. We can speak into the Weavix, and all of a sudden, our work order's already created. That's an idea.
Which CMMS are you using?
SAP. And if you think about taking that idea somewhere, don't do SAP.
Okay.
Integration with SAP is difficult, especially from even a tablet standpoint to getting it to go to SAP. I know that from experience.
We've been working with Microsoft the last 3 years with Teams integration, and it is a nightmare.
I can imagine. I can imagine. If your higher ups want to get creative, I've got a contact with MIT.
Well, we always like the developers.
They're trying to do a startup on their own, and it's AI based, and I've already given them information from drawings and also from manuals where they basically scan documents in, and I literally asked it questions, and it told me where to check, what to look for, what frequency.
That's legit.
So it's in the beginning stages.
Well, do you have anything you want to say, man? Like at all on your Wednesday?
No, we appreciate you guys and having the opportunity to be able to use Weavix, right, and help you guys grow it and improve it. We would love to continue being partners, as I know that we're going to probably be looking at this possibly from a company aspect, not just here local. So I think we keep working on the relationship, we'll be fine.
I always love to unpack to facilities and see how everybody a lot of that.
Like I was telling you before, right? I cheated a little bit, so I knew about Weavix before you guys came in. So me and the consultant, Mike, we worked on bringing you guys in the beginning, just because we knew that it was an opportunity, a huge opportunity.
We want to come back and see the Panera production when that's going. So.
Come on back.
That's gonna be awesome. What? We need to wrap up. Just got one more, two. So.
Yeah, she says, I told her to meet us here. Yeah, thanks so much. Thank you so much. That was great.
Thank you. Yeah, years ago.
Let's go ahead and get rolling. You want to tell us your name, your position, who you work for, and how long you've been here?
Okay, my name is Pam Weinrich. I work for Aspire Bakeries. I have worked here for 17 years. and I manage the packaging in the warehousing department, and I have 164 employees, and probably 10 of them are using the Walt system. So.
Awesome.
Good
Good to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, could you just start off? I know you mentioned that you primarily use the mobile app, but could you talk about how that helps you in your day-to-day, job, and how it helps you be more effective?
I'm able to have just one place to go for all information. Internal text messages, internal, external emails, and then communication with my team. And I can turn the sound off and still watch it during meetings, so if something happens, I just have one little piece of equipment to carry around.
That's great. Hopefully you get to relax on the weekends and your nights off, but do you use it to keep track of
I
things
do.
that are going on
I
at
do.
the facility?
I do. There's when things are really going on, or something's going wrong, I can watch it and see, did someone call maintenance? If maintenance answered them, is there a bigger issue going on? I can make the decision to just come in if I need to, rather than waiting for someone to say, okay, can you come in and help us? So, and it's a good way to remind people to take the right steps on things. If you notice something, because we require all of our leads and foremen and supervisors to use the radios, we can make sure they're following processes or not overdoing something. I can see at 3:00 in the morning, if I happen to look at it, that something went on hold, and I can give my team a heads up, just a quick email that says, hey guys, you're gonna need to check this tomorrow because it all went on hold. So.
Awesome, thank you. That was very helpful. One thing that's just been very surprising is just the sheer size of this place. It's absolutely humongous.
480,000 square feet.
That is wild. Is there ways that Walt helps you, communicate to your colleagues and staff, across the facility without having to run down and track them down?
Yes, and it works throughout the whole facility. I'm able to see where people are in the maps. I'm personally having a little bit of issue with maps, but we can see on the map where somebody is, which is very helpful, because it is too big of a building to just, I'll run over there and find them. You're just not going to be able to do that. We also have given them earpods so that they can always be listening and always hear what's going on the radio. I like that I can turn off all the other noise that I don't need to listen to. I can listen to just the 3 channels that I like to listen to, and so.
How many channels did you guys have here at the facility when you guys were running Motorola's?
4.
4 channels?
Mhm.
Do you remember what the channels were for?
Maintenance, QA, production, and warehouse.
I gotcha. How many radios were distributed through each division?
Ooh, a lot.
A lot?
A lot. Well, I had 27. So there was a lot.
Nice little price
Yeah,
tag on those.
there was. It is, and it is hard. That's the one we haven't completely gone away from them because we can't. We just don't have. We just can't give everyone a Walt. It's just too big of a facility. So, for people who don't need a Walt, they still communicate on the Motorolas, and then supervisors, foremen, leads, they all have Walts, and they let us know. That is helpful. I don't need to hear every radio call.
Yeah.
I need to.
All that noise.
Yeah, I don't need all that noise. So at least it filters through a little bit, and only the important stuff that.
Have you utilized your favorites channel creation?
We have a new feature I can show you after this.
Yeah, no, I have not done
you
that.
Can favorite it,
Show it right now.
yeah, if
I
you're
have not.
talking to Tom every day, you can highlight him so it actually will show up at the very top of your list, so you don't have to go through and find him every time.
Okay, so I'm just gonna do this.
Yes, if you click on his name.
Click on his name where?
So if you click on
Just use this one. That's fine.
this one, so you just click there, and then you click there, and then you click favorite,
Oh.
and that'll all sort it at the very top. So I would restrict it to maybe your top 5 or top
Yeah.
10 people that
Oh,
you communicate with.
yeah.
And it can be either an individual or it could be a
channel.
channel as well. So
Well, that's great.
Are you aware of the notebook feature too on the mobile app?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Where's that one at?
Right here. No. So if you're out and about, if you're on the floor or you're in the office, you want to just make a note of something, something, just talk into it. It's like your own personal little diary.
Once you've talked into it, can you save it and then send it to somebody else?
I don't know that you could send it, but it saves in
It saves
the
in
note.
here.
You can copy it. You can do like a copy.
You can
paste.
copy paste?
It doesn't delete though. You can't use it like kind of a checklist. But if you're out, if somebody says, "Hey, can you when you get back to the office, can you check on this for me?" It's kind of just that that ongoing notebook that you have.
Oh, okay. All right.
We just noticed a couple people didn't know about a few of these features. So
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Some
I
of them
di-
are newer. Like the favorites is pretty new. So.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah.
Wait, where'd you get? How'd you get to know? Oh, it's on the bottom. Never mind.
Yes,
That
ma'am.
was I see it now.
And then could you talk, just because you've been here for a while, could you talk about kind of maybe some of the differences in what you've seen from a culture perspective, from a productivity perspective, from when kind of pre-Walt with Motorola's to where you are now, where do you see the biggest challenges being solved, hopefully the biggest improvements?
We have quicker communication or can solve issues quicker because everyone can hear the same thing. So maintenance isn't just talking to maintenance on the maintenance channel and then having to then talk to the warehouse on the warehouse channel, and then somebody texts me because I don't have a black radio upstairs in a meeting.
Okay.
So now we can just do it all at one time. And if we're in a meeting and something goes sideways, we can all, as soon as you start hearing like the little vibrate noise or like, oh, what's going on, and we can just say, sorry, we gotta go, and we can leave. We do have a quicker response time. We do, I think, have better communication, or we're getting better between the employees that speak other languages because of the translation, and having updated the dialects has helped a little bit. We were talking about this earlier. They don't always just speak in Spanish or just speak in English. They kind of combine the two, and it doesn't always come across the radio the right way. So it is, sometimes we just watch the conversations because they're hysterical to watch it how it translates. So but I think overall we had some issues with Wi-Fi points, wireless points, and we got some more points put in because it does kill the battery on your phone. And there's certain spots, like if you're in our packing area, which is full of metal and it only had one access point. And when they went through and did the survey, we were pinging like 25 things off that one point. Because I didn't realize, as you leave one room and you're going into the other, it's all trying to find the next point, so you're still pinging off both of them. So Wi-Fi points was a little bit of an issue. I don't think we're having that trouble anymore. It was just, it was that area is in the middle of the building. Because I tested this with Shakay, and I could go to line 7 on the other end of the building, sit in the office and talk to, and have no problem. It was just in the center of the building that we had trouble.
Okay.
So, and in the freezer,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of in here too.
freezer.
Is there any like specific event or anything where you're just like, I am so glad that we had Weavings here for this?
For material, one specific thing. No. There's been some.
You can fabricate.
Yeah. I mean, we had a dumpster fire,
No, really?
and that was. If we would have had this then, we'd have had a much quicker response time than what happened. We had an oven fire, and they were able to put it on WeaveX right away, and we were able to respond right away. And for us, it's not that you don't want to call the fire department, but the fire department will kill the oven, and we can put it out faster. And when I say fire, it wasn't like flaming. It was a fire, but so we were able to solve problems quicker with having these, and we've been able to avoid some disasters. Losing a freezer, it got real. That was something I was watching from home.
Really?
Yeah, and I could tell I was watching the temperatures, and I was watching my team call utilities, and I was able to just call the manager of maintenance and said, we're getting ready to lose the freezer. You have to make a decision right now what you're going to do. And I was able to tell the team, start moving it out of one freezer and putting it in the other freezer, and we ended up we might have lost a little bit, but I mean, we've lost a freezer before, and it's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. So we were able to.
Real quick, I want to, because this is actually
Yeah.
a personal story of something. Do you think you can like kind of like tell this as a story, like it was Saturday, type thing,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever? And
Yep.
I would love to have that soundbite. I mean, this is a really good story.
Yeah.
You're tying direct, I mean, monetary loss
Oh,
right there
okay.
to the time.
Tom, I'm right on that monetary amount, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so you wanna go ahead, tell us this little story about the freezer.
So it was really warm, and here on the East Coast, we've had highs and lows, great differences, and we keep our freezers at -20, between -10 and 20, and at -10, or 10. And the freezer temperatures started rising throughout the day. I was able to watch all day long. I knew what was going on, and I had the team just start putting out the temperatures on the utilities channel every hour. And I was checking it, and you get to a certain point. If you get above 13 degrees, getting back down under 10 it takes a long time to go back down. And I was able to, first off, tell the team, start getting it out of the one freezer, move it to the other freezer so we don't lose it. Leave the holds in there and leave the ingredients in there, but get the finished good out. I was able to get a hold of the maintenance manager, and he didn't know anything about it. And I said, check Weavex. So he's at home in Delaware, I'm at home in New Jersey, and they're all here, and we're getting all of the information. And we were able to pivot really quickly and not lose anything. But if we would have lost it, it would have been hundreds of thousands of dollars of finished good we would have lost.
That's amazing.
And in addition to losing the finished good, you then have to get rid of the finished good and pay to get rid of it, to dispose of it. So it saved us quite a bit of money, just that one event. So
How long do you think it took from like, you said you were monitoring it,
Mhm.
and when you decided to take action, how long do you think it took when, by the time you
Oh.
guys found a resolution to it?
Well, the first resolution of them getting the freezer emptied, first of all, since we had Weavex and it was the middle of the night, I was able to just tell them on the radio from home. I didn't have to try and call and have no one answering the phone in the shipping office. I was able to tell them right away, just start moving it. I don't care what else you're doing, stop what you're doing and move it. And probably within a half hour, 45 minutes, there was another maintenance manager here helping them solve the problem and get to the root cause of the issue. So we had a really quick response time.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
And as a manager, sometimes, like the maintenance team or the utility team may not listen to their other teammates, but if a manager starts chiming in the middle of the night, there's usually a little bit of a quicker response. I think now that they've figured out that we can chime in the middle of the night and we're not going to wait till the morning to have some major event had happened, it has helped too. There's probably been quite a few things like that where we've been able to chime in the middle of the night and just say, stop what you're doing, shut the line down, throw it all away, and not end up with a bunch of stuff on hold.
Probably got a peace of mind now, in a way.
Yeah, I do. Because there's sometimes when you forget to turn it off and you start hearing things and you're like, what is going on? So, definitely. It has made our internal communication much easier.
For
I
those
think.
nights that hopefully you're not getting woken up by pings, do you still check it in the morning?
Yep.
Just to kind of see what was going on the night before.
I usually check it. I check it and if you have a new supervisor or a new person, you're like, oh, is everybody doing okay? Because you don't want them to think that you don't trust what they're doing, but you need to make sure that they're okay. And then I do first thing in the morning. I check my text messages, and then I check the maintenance. I check the warehouse channel, and then the maintenance channel, because usually that's it's between one of the two.
I guess.
So
Okay.
yeah.
If you guys had to get rid of Weavix tomorrow, what kind of gaps would you have to fill from what you guys have been currently doing now, using the system? Could you fill the gaps, you think?
I don't think we could fill the gaps I think it would give us gaps that so many of us are used to not having anymore. Started with those gaps, not being able to get a hold of people. If they're actively working, there's no one sitting by a phone. That's the biggest thing. The supervisors are the only ones that have cell phones. Employees don't have cell phones. And that's the biggest thing. If there's something, the emergency response too. If somebody gets hurt, that is a big gap that thankfully, knock on wood, we haven't had to use, but I see the difference in, you see right away, oh, so somebody slipped and fell, so we can respond right away to that. So in a case of a real big emergency, that would be a big gap, because it takes a while. It's a big building.
Yep.
You got to find a supervisor. even if they have a radio, if they happen to be on break and they didn't take their black radio with them, you couldn't get a hold of them, so they always have their phones. So you're always able to get a hold of them. So.
Now, yeah, being in this place as big as it is, it'd be very easy to be just in an area where you're all on your own and it's so loud, you take a slip and fall.
We actually did, before we had WeavX, we had that happen. We had a forklift driver trip and fall when he was doing something, and he sliced his arm open. But he was between two rows of corrugate, and he got up and he was all dizzy and everything, and went over to the computer, and he sent a quick email. Thankfully, first shift, I have a clerk who saw the email, and she called me on the phone. She's like, Rick just fell. He's in the back. I was like, oh my God. So it definitely has helped. That's the biggest thing for us. If we'd have had WeavX then, it would, we'd have been, he wouldn't have sat back there by himself for like 10 or 15 minutes bleeding.
Yeah.
So he was fine, but,
It sounds from your experience between, the management side and even the safety side, it sounds like it does bringing you a little bit more peace with how the operations are running.
yeah,
The safety involved.
it helps with
it.
investigations, because you can see if somebody says, no, we didn't know anything about that till 8 p.m. and you can go, well, I saw it at 4:30, so what happened in between the two times? So I don't know that the employees love it as much. They don't like the idea that we can see everything they're talking about on the radios. They sometimes, I don't want to say try to sneak things past us, but I think it's growing on them because they know it's not going away.
Mm-hmm.
We're not getting rid of it. Whatever it can do for us, we'll take all the help we can get. It's a big building, and it's a big building, and it's not growing in footprint, but we're growing in size as far as lines. And something happens on that other end of the building, we'll know right away. So, because most of us aren't on that end of the building most of the time. So, and for me, I have like 230,000 square feet to cover that I own or my team owns, so I can, I at least, where are you? What happened? Where'd you find it? Send me a picture. That's the bigger thing too, because send me a picture. Let me know what happened. Do I need to rush, or are we just being worried about what we did? So, pictures are a good help.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Brandon, you got anything?
No, this has all been great. Yeah, that's what we hear time and time again is, if I'm trying to explain something, it's going to take it back and forth versus, especially if it's not my specialty, if I'm just walking by. But if you can send that picture, the right person can figure out what's going on really quickly. I know you mentioned the dialects and some of the translation could use some work for improvement. Are there any other features that you have thought of that, like, hey, I really wish it could do X, Y, or Z, or anything else that you think we could improve upon?
Well, I kind of mentioned this morning. They would all like it if you could type, but like the radio, it doesn't have a lot of space to put a keyboard on there. I think part of it too is because they type faster than they can talk sometimes. I don't think so. But I'm sure anything that came out on it, I'd be like, oh, that's really cool.
Awesome.
We just need to not kill batteries.
Yeah. Agreed.
I just had a question. I just saw a couple of them here. Where do you store all of them at? Are they just kind of dispersed around the facility?
Every department has their own
Okay.
little station, and we have them set up so that I have a receiver in English and a receiver in Spanish, so we just leave them set up, and we use the little badge to log into, and then we have all of my leads we have a lead English, a lead Spanish, clerk, like we have them dispersed like that, and then like at night if we let all of the night shift guys all use WeavX's, because there's only 4 of them here at night, and they can just get a hold of each other much easier on the radios than they can on the Motorola. So we all put in our budget to add more to that's our biggest, like, it's an investment. It's definitely an investment, but I think it's been worth it, and I think that especially in a large building, it's worth the investment.
Yeah, Jeremy was giving us some figures about, he was talking about an 8% increase in response time.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks to having this, and go back to what you were talking about with the freezer situation.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of the investment, it's
Oh, that paid,
Sounds like
I mean, honestly, that could possibly have paid for itself, anything we've spent on the system that night. Because it can be bad. It can be bad. It's,
At what scale you all do everything if you.
we
you
do.
know,
We
lose
make,
an entire day of,
we make
supply.
about 400 pallets a day,
Oh my gosh.
between 4 and 450, and it pretty much only stays here for 24 to 48 hours. But in any given time, we have about 500 pallets in each, at least 500 pallets in each freezer. So at any given time, that's just a lot. It's a lot to lose. And the one freezer that we keep at -10 or 20 can thaw in a matter of, you can take it from the freezer from -10 to 40 degrees. It takes about 3 minutes to start. They're starting to get, it's a donut product, and it just starts to get soft and thaw. So, yeah, it doesn't take long at all for those to thaw. So,
Yeah, I'd say you definitely, everybody's got to be in step.
yeah.
with This stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we can see things. We can see things going on here, and I can text Tom in the afternoon and in the evening, and I'll say, are you watching the radio, or did you see what just happened, or do we need to do anything with this, so that we don't have to go through an escalation channel and get everyone all excited if it's not really worth getting anybody excited about. So.
Yeah, we were talking to, I can't remember what I was talking to Thomas about it, but we have a client that was on a major construction site, and every day there's 700 men on site, and I think it was like between 9 different contractors, and their HSE guys wanted to start running some drills and testing units, and they did a drill where they evacuated 300 guys, just 300, just one section to run the drill. And personally, I mean, I've been part of drills, and it's the whole facility.
Yeah.
You know, let's see how long muster's gonna take. Instead, they were able to isolate. So like if a fire broke out here, you don't have to stop the entire project.
Right.
Just evacuate that area. So they sent the alert to those guys, and it was 15 minutes from the time the alert was sent to the final head count with 300 men. And with this kind of facility, you know, with as big as you guys are, like you were talking about the oven catching fire, is that worth shutting the entire operation down
Right.
versus segmenting that group of people?
Right.
So,
And then you have all that group of people that are like, is this really happening? Is this a fire drill? Should I go? And it just like, with these, when we can tell everyone ahead of time, you're going to hear fire alarm drills, no need to evacuate. That's helpful too, because even evacuating this building, all right, you can get at most everybody outside in a decent amount of time. But as soon as you leave anything, you have to throw stuff away. You have to throw dough away. If it's truly like a true like fire or power outage where everything in the oven has to be thrown away. So it's, you know, we did have a power outage on this side where we were able to just get a hold of everybody. And, you know, for me, I was like, go to the donut side, go to the donut cafeteria, stay there, let me know if everybody's down there. So it's definitely, it's more for peace of mind for my stuff and just making sure things are getting done. But
that's awesome.
yeah.
That's great.
And we watch it all day long. We watch it all day long.
I
It's,
feel ya.
yeah, just, you know, it's another little toy to play with sometimes. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, who's doing what right now? And should I really get into the middle of this conversation?
That's how we are too. You know, within our own team, we kind of have to, like today being here. You know, we silence several channels.
Yeah.
You know, so people aren't chiming in when we're doing these interviews and stuff. So I get it. But I really appreciate your time.
All right.
Thank you so
Anything else to
much.
say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to say? You want to give a shout out to anybody?
Shakay for bringing it to us.
Hey,
Absolutely.
there we go.
Yeah, Shakay for bringing it to us. I was a big proponent of it.
Yeah.
Like as soon as she said we're gonna test them, I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's go. They could be louder, maybe, because on the forklifts, I know my guys can't always hear them.
Okay.
They just, I mean, it is loud. Don't get me wrong, but when you're on a forklift driving past equipment, it just
What
doesn't.
are some things that some current bugs? I know we talked about it a little bit this morning, but I would love to go ahead and just get this on film.
Yeah, the batteries maybe a little louder so that in the high, because we do wear earplugs out on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
What else? I don't personally have any other. I did ask the team yesterday, and they were like, "Oh, we can't hear them." I was like, "Okay, but I can't think of anything else again because I don't use the radio."
Okay.
I use it on my phone. So,
Awesome.
would you, if somebody was an iPad user, would you be able to put it on an iPad? No.
No, it's not. Our developers haven't put it on iPad.
Okay.
We have it on a desktop, your
It's on
phone,
desktop.
and so tech. Like if you had so if you have a browser on your tab,
I don't know how
your
well
iPad.
it works. I have only seen it on a desktop, an actual computer.
I have it. I have an iPad, and I've used the console before on it.
Okay.
And it's just through a browser.
I just wonder because our training team is getting ready to start using iPads on the floor.
Okay.
So, that might be an option too. Instead of carrying a radio and an iPad,
Are they newer iPads?
they would be brand new
Brand new?
iPads.
I'm pretty sure the new brand new iPads. It's ARM architecture on software, and you can download mobile apps onto an iPad. So we'll take this back to the
Yeah,
dev
it's
team.
just
This
it's just
is
a
awesome.
random question because it would be great.
Yeah, double check on that
First
one.
time I've ever heard it. So yeah, this is good.
Yeah, I mean I carry two phones, but like when you talk about giving people equipment, they get so worried they're gonna break them, and they do break them. So if we only had one thing to break versus and we wear lab coats, we don't really have pockets, we don't have places to put things. So if you only had to carry that iPad, you could still have the radio on the iPad and be using
I like
it.
that.
So
I like that idea.
yeah.
Especially
so.
if you guys are going to start using the device out here, then yeah, we need to pivot in a way. I know speaking with some of the devs before, I brought that up a few years ago, and they said it's a completely different design that you have to develop, basically.
Yeah,
for
and
the size of it.
for us, it's not like in the next week or two that they're gonna do it. It's
Okay.
a conversation. We actually just had it this morning about giving the training team iPads, so then they could have a radio on the iPad.
There's nothing better than some lead time.
Yes, I know. Oh,
So-
trust
so
me.
glad- I'm so
Yes,
glad to hear this
yes.
now.
It's not next week, so that's all. That's all I got.
Thank you so much for
All
your
right.
time. I'm gonna sign
Yeah,
off.
thank you so
Thanks.
much. That was
So, what's your name? How long you work here? What's your position?
Cash Torrini. I'm work for Aspire Bakeries. I'm the continuous improvement manager, and I've been with the company for 4 years now.
Nice. What do you have to say about Weebix? Like, what are your thoughts on it as a whole? Likes, dislikes, things like that.
Right. Weebix is revolutionary. It's definitely something that we came across as a need, and it was good that we found this solution to bridge the gap between communication between departments. We're multicultural here as well, different languages, so the translation features help significantly. We came from traditional channel radios, like most, I think, customers that transfer to Weebix. So having the history and the abilities to take pictures and videos was a game changer for us, definitely.
For your position in your department, what's your most utilized feature and what's your favorite feature with Walt?
Most utilized feature would be the history for me. As continuous improvement, accountability with the team is huge. So understanding what was done, especially on the off shifts, right, where I may not be up during that time to see things real time. Being able to go through the history and understand what was done, what challenges the team faced, it helps with problem solving and troubleshooting significantly. So that would be my most used feature. And my next question was my
What is your favorite feature?
favorite feature. My favorite feature would be the translations.
Yeah.
Right, translations. Communication is key, and if we can't communicate to one another, we really can't make good progress or headway. So it's huge for us to be able to empower our team, engage with them by empowering them to speak in their native language and that we can understand, and same reciprocate that communication as well.
Do you feel like it's kind of helped your guys' culture kind of come together more, being able to communicate?
I think so far we still have a long way ahead of us. It has. We've had its challenges with proper translations or even picking up on different accents. So I think it's forcing employees to speak a little bit differently, probably slow down on how they're speaking. But it definitely has brought the team together, and I imagine that it will continue to do so moving forward.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. If you guys decided tomorrow to just get rid of Weebix, what would happen? How would that result for you guys?
It will be a loss. There's some team members who are still who still prefer the traditional channel radios. So there's still a learning curve there, but I think company-wide it will be a loss and a setback because we're able to not only communicate with team members that we probably weren't able to communicate with before, but across different departments, right? So quality, maintenance, production, they can all get involved and understand what each department does from day to day, and that has been definitely a game changer. So I think it would be a setback on just the progress that we've made so far.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, the way you guys are utilizing it, you guys are like outside the box in a lot of ways.
Good.
With how you guys are utilizing it, so
Ah.
it's really cool. You guys are using it in ways like we never even thought.
Okay.
It would be used
Right.
like that. Yeah.
What are one of those ways that you came across?
Huh?
What are one of those ways you came across?
Sonia and them are making a training guide in here,
Oh, nice.
and
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
using actual photos that you guys have been taking.
That they take from from
it's-
Weavix, yeah.
she's like, it's not stuff from other companies or other countries. It's our facility.
Yes.
Our people.
Right.
just-
What we're seeing and what they're taking. Oh, awesome.
You okay?
Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah, and I was like, that's genius. Like, that's genius. You have
Right.
your own people producing, what to avoid
Right.
for future trainees.
Yes.
Type of
Yeah.
thing.
And
So-
it's real. It's not cherry picked, right? It is as they see it, and I think that's the power of this type of device and Weavix, being able to have it on your person as you see an issue or potential threat, and take a picture of it or capture it in that moment. That's
Have
good.
you guys utilized it at all for any kind of emergency situations or anything like that?
It has been used both for true emergencies and unintentionally. I think we've had a few of the unintentional ones. More right, pressing that button by mistake.
Yeah.
So it has been used for that, and it's helped with communications when we do have an emergency to get everyone on the same page. Yes, that's helped. Yeah.
What if you could have anything added to the system or to the device? What would you want to see added to it as a feature or anything like that?
Right. That's I guess I have to think about that one a bit. I would think.
I just
Hey,
wanted to make
right.
sure the makeup,
he got me good. Good highlights. I think improvements with the translations, understanding different dialects and accents, and just more AI type learning from that to be able for it to adapt to how it's being used and how the team speaks with the Weavix. I think that type of technology would help really propel it to the next level. Yeah.
Yeah. Or the language model, ours is powered through Microsoft.
Right.
So theirs is
Oh, okay.
constantly learning.
Constantly learning and
So the
updating. Okay,
more-
so is it?
Yeah. So the
Yeah,
more
yeah.
we use it, we're really hoping that one of these days we actually literally have Spanglish
Right.
as an option.
Okay.
You can drift between Spanish and English, and it knows how to. The thing is, you don't know on the receiving end, you don't know how it should be translated one way or the other.
For the other person, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so
But we do get a lot of that, a lot of Spanglish mixed in between. So,
Probably,
so yeah, no, but I don't really think I could pinpoint anything else I would say that is needed. I know we've had to get headphones as well, right? So having that feature helps. Some type of earpieces as well, as sometimes the volume may not be as loud as we may need it in the louder areas. So those type of features just helps resolve any small issues that we have here.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, I can't think of any more questions I can ask you.
Appreciate it.
Is there anything maybe that I didn't ask that maybe you want to talk about, like something that the wall radios have helped you guys with or anything like that?
No, I think we covered everything, right? It's mainly those three features: the media, the pictures and videos, and the translations. Those three are truly breakthrough features that helps us significantly.
Awesome. Are you aware of any of the new features that we've rolled out here recently? Have you seen our
Which
favorites?
ones?
The favorites?
Okay, no, I haven't utilized the favorites.
Yeah,
Okay,
so,
yeah, so we could do favorites
Yeah,
on there
so
as
we
well.
could- yeah, if
Nice.
you go, are you on mobile or are you using?
Mobile.
Yeah, go ahead and grab it, bro. I'll set this up. So if you have certain channels or people that you're always talking to,
Right.
you
Okay.
can have them locked to the top. So go ahead and just pick one that's like your favorite.
I need to update.
No. Okay, so you just touch the logo and
No,
your favorite.
favorites. Yeah.
And if you go back,
Nice. It locks to the top.
yeah,
Oh,
locks to the top.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can do that. There's that feature, and do you know about the notebook as well?
I saw it here. I haven't used it, but this is a personal notes.
Yeah, just personal notes.
Personal notes
Yeah,
and
you
this.
just
Okay.
you're on the floor, you see something, you're like, oh, I gotta remember to do that. You just pull up
Right.
your notes and say it to yourself, and it's transcribed, timestamp, so you've got it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, integration with Microsoft and Notes, right? We do a lot of floor meetings. The team needs to record actions. We utilize Microsoft Teams for recording actions. Any type of integration there would be groundbreaking, right? So just like we have notes here, if the notes could be something that we're recording actions that could be shared and collaborative. I think that would definitely be a huge feature. But the notes are a nice feature. I like that. I'll keep that in mind and the favorites as well. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks
of
for
course.
that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I appreciate your time, man.
Thank
It was
you.
Great meeting you.
Yep. Thank you as well.
Yeah,
Nice
we
meeting you.
hearing you on the floor and everything. And look at Brandon.
Okay.
Take it away.
Yeah, if you want to just start off by giving us your name, your position, where you work, and how long you've been here for.
Sure. Shakay Bush. I work for Aspire Bakeries. I've been with the organization, next month will be 20 years. I started kind of right at the front desk. So, my story is a little bit different. I'm an EHS manager now, but I started right on the ground floor. So I started as a receptionist. I did that for about 3 months. And then I moved to production administration, where I worked for about 9 years in production, and then transitioned into safety in 2014 as a coordinator, and kind of worked my way up the ladder to where I am now, which is a senior EHS manager.
Awesome. That's a very cool story.
Yeah.
The career, path there. That's awesome to see. And then let's get right into it. You were telling us off camera about how you came upon Weavix, and we'd love to hear that story.
Yeah, so we actually discovered Weavex through a contractor that we had, a consultant we had on site who was helping us with some other projects. And he told us about another company that his daughter worked for. And he understood that we had some communication challenges. We have multiple languages here. We have close to 700 employees. And we have some, challenges with communication, especially dealing with multiple backgrounds. And he came across that device and then told us about it, and we were intrigued about it. So we did a video call with Weavex, and they kind of showed us the ropes, and we kind of went from there. I kind of became the champion for Weavex and kind of pushed that to where we are today.
Awesome. That's a very cool story. One thing I remember, I was on a call with you, I believe, a couple weeks ago, and one of the consistent themes that's come up is around the ability to use the wall radio kind of for offsite communications.
Mm-hmm.
People are during third shift when they're home for the night to keep a track of what's going on. I believe you mentioned some incident where there's a water main that was broken.
Yes.
Could you tell us that story again?
Yeah.
Because I thought that was just a really cool story.
Sure. So I'm 24/7. Obviously, we are a 24/7 operation. So I'm 24/7, and there was a third occasion where third shift, we have a construction project going on as well right now. We are actually building one of the largest artisan bread lines that's going into our construction site right now. And of course, as things happen, one of the contractors hit a sprinkler and busted the sprinkler, and it kind of set off the fire alarm. So what happened was, of course, the fire department's on their way, they're thinking something is really going on, and we were able to use the Weavex, the Walt device, to actually communicate to both sides of the building that, one, it was a false alarm, but also it helped communicate to people, get them out the building, and then be able to get them back into the building immediately without a whole lot of disruption to our production process. So they really prove themselves beneficial to us, especially during safety moments as those for us.
That's awesome. That's a very cool story.
Yeah.
Could you tell me, just out of curiosity, how do you really, kind of what's your day to day for using that, on the weekends? Are you checking in? Do you get alerts if it's a certain channel on the weekend? You're like, hey, I need to respond to this. Kind of what's your, day to day for using this, maybe outside of the facility?
Yeah. So, I actually have it on my mobile phone too. So I am actually on call all the time. So it goes off, I respond. We have a safety channel set up on there. So anything that comes across the safety channel, majority of the time after hours, I respond to because we are 24/7. But we do have people, as far as on my team, that do respond to the safety channel. And they'll send pictures of different things that they find that are not up to par in the bakery that need to be fixed. We actually communicate with maintenance on those. Some of those we get a faster response through the Walt device than we would if we went email, or if I'd had to find their phone number to call them. So it has proven to be a really beneficial tool for us for communication, especially we used to have what are they, Motorola radios. So those were kind of challenging because if you didn't have one, then you didn't have that communication. So the fact that all the managers have it, especially in a safety event, when someone presses whether it's an accident or on purpose, presses the SOS button, it triggers, it calls my phone that there's somebody down. So those are all, great features of the Walt device that we have found beneficial for us here.
That's awesome. You kind of led me into another question I was going to ask. I've heard a couple of people, talking about, before you all had us. Are there any kind of, high level, benefits that you've seen, maybe culturally with the company since, kind of having Motorola now switching over to, having Walt?
Wow, the biggest, I would say the biggest benefit for us for that was the gap in communication. Like I said, we have several languages, breaking down the language barrier. The Walt device has truly helped us be able to do that. We have probably about 60% of our population that speaks Spanish. So if you didn't speak Spanish, and that was, that's the communication that was happening on the Motorola at the time. Now you have to find somebody to go translate, what was going on, and then you're kind of behind the incident. So the fact that those, the Walt device is able to immediately translate what that person is saying in whatever language they're speaking is phenomenal. That's probably been the biggest benefit for us, was bridging that language barrier.
That's great to hear, and something that we've heard before. So glad that's helping you all.
Yes.
One question I had, though, is very specific to your role.
Sure.
Was the main thing, it's been awesome being here, but the place is absolutely humongous. I mean, it's just intimidating how large it is.
Yes.
How has having Walt helped, with your role specifically, when there is a safety incident, completely across the building and you're on the other side of the facility?
Yeah, that actually bridges that. It makes communication with the other side a bit easier for me, especially in my role, especially when there is an event. I can actually have people dispatched on that side of the building that may be able to respond faster than it would for me to walk from this side of the building. We're almost 500,000 square feet. I think we're 460,000 square feet. So, it's a pretty big facility. So trying to get over there in time, especially in emergent events, that being able to communicate through the Walt device, or even through the mobile app through the Walt device, to communicate to them makes it a big, help for me.
Thank you very much for sharing that. One thing I was curious, I know you've been here for, many years now, is, how is Walt helpful for getting, new employees, onboarded quicker? And then also, how would you rate the kind of learning curve of the Walt? Do new employees kind of pick it up pretty quickly?
I think the new employees pick it up pretty quickly. It is very easy to use, very user friendly. So I think that, and then the fact that you can put the device and all of the communication on device in their language, it definitely makes it a huge benefit to be able to do that for employees. The fact that I can talk in English on my device and you can talk in Spanish on your device, and we are able to communicate real time is an amazing feature for a communication device.
Okay, what would happen? What would happen if you guys decided to just get rid of Weebix tomorrow? How would you guys fill that gap if you could, or could you?
Man, I don't think we could. At this point, I think we, especially those departments that had the language barrier, where the language barrier was really challenging for them, I don't think you could replace that. It's become a tool that it's become part of our process.
That's awesome. Earlier we kind of come to the realization that for a lot of you guys at your management level, Weebix has basically just become a peace of mind.
Yes.
Because you can tap in when you're off-site.
Yes.
You know communication's happening on-site. So you think you kind of elaborate on that? Peace of mind it's
For
given you?
me, I can say it gives me peace of mind because I may not always respond to what's going on, but I know what's going on and I can respond when I need to step in. But I know that there's no fires going on. Nobody's calling the fire department. Nobody's looking for fire extinguishers or things of that sort. So definitely on the off hours, on the weekend hours when I'm not here, it definitely gives me a little bit of peace of mind. I've kind of been able to sleep a little bit better. I don't sleep as much until we're shut down, but I've been able to sleep a little better knowing that I have the end to what's going on 24/7. So, yeah, it definitely has eased my peace of mind a little bit.
Yeah, we were talking to Pam about that, and she had very similar sentiment that there's like an escalation channel. Do you think it allows the management, people like you and Pam and Tom to kind of more freely communicate to each other? Kind of obviously you've talked about your a lot of your employees who may not speak English, but allow you within kind of the management, the supervisor level to communicate more freely as well.
Yeah, and I think for us, not even just the management, just the interdepartment communication has improved because you can, even though, like I'll use quality for example, even though quality their techs are doing their job, I can actually go in and see what they're having, what challenges they're seeing, even though that may not necessarily be my responsibility or my role, but I could see if there are some challenges that maybe I could help with, or maybe we could work together to improve whatever challenges they may be seeing at the time. So and vice versa, they've been able to, when they're searching out there for quality issues, if they see something else, they can shoot that over to the safety channel, and then we're so it kind of makes it really easy in real time to communicate, get better communication between the departments.
That's awesome to hear.
We discovered today that maintenance, that he's saying that we're looking at like an 8% increase on how fast they can respond and
Yes.
get things fixed because they're able to identify that problem.
Yes.
And also the hundreds of thousands that were saved when the freezer went down
Yes.
a while back.
Yes.
And she had forgot about that.
Yeah.
So do you think you can elaborate maybe on like the ROI of what Weebix brings to a company?
Yeah, I would say for us, language barrier was like our biggest challenge, and that was the biggest hurdle that we couldn't get over. So I can't really say there's a price for that, in all honesty, because now we're able to communicate in barriers that we weren't able to do before. So we can actually tell someone who may be a third shift employee who speaks Spanish, I can now communicate with them to say, hey, I need you to do this. And that alone is priceless. It really is. It's truly priceless what Weevex has done to the communication barrier for us. If anybody asks, we have 12 other locations besides our own, and I'm always bridging. That's a challenge, at some of those facilities, many of our facilities, and I'm always pushing them towards Weevex. I really push any company that language, interdepartment communication is a challenge. I really think Weevex would be the answer to that.
Thank you. Great soundbite.
Yeah, thank you.
One thing I guys is curious about, you talked about how it's helped you. I was just curious if you gotten any feedback from, I'm thinking about like somebody who's on third shift, maybe they're Spanish speaking.
Mhm.
If they do have a safety concern that, sometimes they're not maybe comfortable going to their manager, they want to go straight to the safety team. Maybe
Yep.
they have a question about their benefits and want to go to HR or
Yep.
something. Have you got any feedback from some of those employees
We
it's easier to access management and things like that?
Yeah. Actually, it's easier to access management, but even like you said, from the third shift team, that was one of the reasons when we went with Weavex, we made sure we wanted to bridge the communication for any department, and any channel is open to anybody. So we didn't limit it. We don't limit anybody on the platform. They can, if there's a safety issue, they can send it to the safety channel. We have a channel for every department, including HR, and HR uses them to communicate and locate employees instead of having to page the employee. They may not hear it. Then they have to go to the supervisor. You can bridge that gap of communication right to the supervisor, right to the floor level, and get who you need right away. So like I said, it's priceless for what it's done for us, especially in the communication, bridging that communication gap.
Awesome.
Do you think it's helping you guys build a tighter culture?
I do. And I think the more, we kind of did a soft rollout. We originally, we didn't go with all of our employees originally, and we're still not there yet, but we've actually kind of realized, okay, we need more. Okay, we need more. Okay, we need more. So we've kind of been slowly increasing the amount of users that we have on the platform. I think we're up to 200, and I think we started at 100. We've added 100 users since we started. So, as we continue to grow, we will definitely expand, our users on that platform. So, it is an amazing piece of technology that you guys have really, really outdone yourself. I don't know that there is a competitor on the market, but I will say we're stuck with Weavex for now.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. I don't want to bring you down off that high, but I was just curious, what are some features that you would like to see in the future added to it?
Yeah, or anything that we can improve upon. I mean, be completely honest with us. Anything that
I'm playing with the forms right now.
Okay.
So, I've got a couple in there. We've set up a couple. I understand that there is some new features that, forms, they've been playing around with forms as well, and there's some new features that have come out that I'm anxious to learn those as well while you guys are on site. So I'm excited about what that could bring to us. I love the safety features that you have, the ability, we had fire alarms, and normally sometimes we have false alarms. They test the alarms like every month around here, it seems like. And we're kind of, before that, we're paging people, we're running around putting up flyers, it's just a test. And now we have the ability to communicate that to all the devices at one time. And that saves me so much time, our receptionist so much time. She can actually get on, our receptionist has a Weavex device, she can actually get on there and find who she's looking for. So these are all tools that we've added to our toolbox that you guys, we didn't have before, that you guys have enabled us to be able to have and to share with our staff here. So, kudos to Weavex for us.
you guys, I'll say this hands down, of all the clients I've been to and all the facilities, you guys are utilizing it in ways I don't think we ever imagined.
Wow.
In terms of how you guys are using it. And I really mean that. Like when I saw the book that you guys are using for implementation.
Yeah.
And it's from your own users.
Yes.
Your own people
Yes.
supplying you that.
Yes.
It's real.
Yes.
I mean, it's awesome.
We're building training devices on it.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah.
What you guys are doing right now?
Yeah, we're actually building training platforms off of the devices. So our quality team is one of the first to really do that. So they're taking pictures of several different aspects of our process, and they are actually building training materials from that. So it's a phenomenal tool that we have found. We had cameras at one time, so that was a whole nightmare. You'd have to have a camera, you'd have to have a radio, you'd have to have a video camera, but we have all of those tools in one, and it is a phenomenal piece of technology that you guys have came up with.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that. That's great. What else do you have?
I mean, I think that was the majority of my questions. I mean,
I've been looking forward to interviewing you
Yeah.
all week. After I finally got to talk to you
Yeah.
in that meeting, I was like, oh, I love your production. Animated. I love it. So
Yeah.
I still have 11 minutes of footage for this SD card, and I would love to utilize that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What are any other things? Actually, I got a question.
I was going to ask.
Oh,
I was just curious if they'd shown you favorites yet. Have you started using that yet?
No, I haven't seen that feature
So
yet.
I can show that to you. So this is something that we just rolled out. But
Like you can select favorite channels.
So you can create. So like this is my boss. That's our marketing team. This is you
Oh,
can
that's
create it. So
cool.
like say you talk to Ethan every day. He's your colleague. Let's go to a different channel. You just click on their name up here, and then you click favorite, and it'll tag. It'll basically
Oh,
order them all at
wow.
the very top. So if you have that top, like I would limit it to like 5 or 10. But otherwise you don't have to scan. You don't have to search.
Yes.
It's just always there in your history.
I will definitely be using that as soon as we finish.
So like
I
the-
am
so
going
like
to
the
go
safety
set up my
channel.
favorites. Yes, I am going to set up my favorites because I do have some people that I do and channels that I follow all throughout the day. So I will definitely be
Especially
using
on
that.
the weekends, if it's
Oh,
your
yeah.
boss or the safety
Absolutely.
channel, I gotta see those first.
Absolutely, because actually safety is like channel 7, so I do have to scroll down a little bit. So now it'll be at the top. I love that. And I love that. That's one of the things that I love about WeaveX is that you guys continue to look for opportunities to improve. You don't just have a great tool and all right, that's what we got. You look for ways to make it better, and then you can communicate with your customers to find out what their needs are, and how you can help. So I love that about the company.
That's great to hear. Yeah, we have a product team. People like myself and Ethan are always getting customer feedback. And the thing I like to say is, the wallet that you bought tomorrow will be the worst version. It's just going to continue to get better as we, continue to improve on it. So.
Yeah, I'll give you an example of an improvement. One of the challenges we had is, like I said, we have multiple languages here, so there are multiple versions of Spanish that are spoken here. So I was bringing that to the table as an improvement, and the crazy thing is you guys were one step ahead of me. They're like, you know what, we're already there. We already have these dialects that we are working on loading into the platform. So my gosh, you guys are sometimes one step ahead of what we are already thinking about as a challenge. So, the fact that you guys were able to do that for us, and now we have the ability to actually communicate and help our dialects better here, to help make the communication better, that you guys were already on it. So
Yeah, I think
that
we
was
have
good.
20 languages plus another 20 dialects. of Spanish,
Yeah.
so.
Yes, it's amazing how you guys are doing that. Yeah. The real-time translation is probably one of my favorite parts, because that was one of my biggest struggles.
Yeah.
So, the fact that you have eliminated that, yeah, kudos.
I kind of want to circle back to, with you being HSE,
Sure.
have you utilized pushing alerts to specific areas?
I haven't to specific areas. I have used push alerts to all devices, but I haven't done it to specific areas. Now, that would be an option for me to be able to push to specific areas, because sometimes Donuts has different, that line has different hazards over there. We have radiation over there. And I don't sit over there, but if there is an event over there, then I would only be talking to that crew that has that hazard or that risk. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Can you elaborate on how important it is to just isolate that group versus shutting down the whole plant for an emergency?
Yeah. So that particular group, the state of New Jersey has a pretty strict radiation policy. So that particular group they are badged access for that room where the x-ray machines are. So to be able to just communicate with them, they don't necessarily have the same challenges that some of the other lines have. So there are only certain people who can go in that room. There are certain individuals who can operate the x-ray machines. So it's very important to be able to just communicate to that group, because the bedside doesn't necessarily have those those challenges. It doesn't have X-ray machines, so it doesn't have badge access, so it doesn't have as much control needed as that side does. So to be able to do that, that's phenomenal.
We were during, I can't remember who it was that we were interviewing when she was talking about when the oven caught fire a little bit.
Yep. Yep.
And I can't remember. She said, did it result in the fire department coming?
She basically said that if it's a small fire, that you all can put it out yourself, because if the fire department comes, they could potentially ruin the
Yeah,
entire
they
thing.
could ruin the oven.
So she was able to basically say, hey, it's small enough that let's handle it.
Mhm.
Instead of the fire department coming, potentially closing
Yes.
down business.
Yes.
Causing a bigger
Yes.
mess than it needs to be, obviously,
Yes.
if they're needed.
Yep. We were able to mitigate that by getting to the utilities team in time to notify the fire department that this was one we could control in-house, and they didn't need to report for that. So.
Do you think you could just do a light recap of the story? You don't even have
Sure.
to get specific of like the line either. Just say, yeah,
Sure.
we had an incident and that.
Yep. From time to time we run some cheese products, and it has a topping on top, and sometimes we have these catch pans in our ovens that catch debris. Our ovens are, we dust, just in any baking environment, how you dust sometimes you dust the conveyors with flour, or semolina for us is what we use. So as we're dusting the semolina, sometimes as the shaker plates of the oven are moving through, that semolina gets caught in these catch pans, and you have to empty them on a frequency, and then sometimes if you add compound products or ingredients that have cheese, which now you're adding oil on top of debris, sometimes you can get that smoldering because they're ovens, so there's the introduction of heat, and that's essentially all it takes. But there are times where we can control those by just brushing out those. We spray it off with a little bit of water, and we're able to control that. Whereas the fire department operates a little bit different. They're not coming in with a little hose to spray that section. They're coming in full force. So yeah, we were able to mitigate that and not only save the equipment, but save the time. Those guys could report to something more important, and better utilize their time as well.
Fantastic. I think we got all the footage to take back for our team. What are ways that we can improve like implementation of Weavix whenever we help you guys roll out?
I think, especially for an organization like this one, probably recorded sessions. Like we did have webinars in the beginning, and not a lot of people could come in because they were on that shift. They were on first shift, and we have some other off shifts. So probably either recorded sessions that we could then share or even upload into our training platform for new hires moving forward, so that we don't have to do that. And kind of generic, like you guys have the onboarding guide, and maybe it's out there and I don't know. But you guys have, like, the onboarding guide is specific to a person. So what I've tried to do, using my little bit of technology, I've tried to crop it out, to crop that person's name off, and at least crop out the instruction part, so that I can put them out in flyers for people just in case they need reminders, so they don't have to go back to that. Not everybody is as tech savvy, so we do have some people who are not as tech savvy, so the simpler little picture document that you guys give as the onboarding guide is amazing. And I think, those are specific to a person. Like, it'll say, hey, Lucy, here's your onboarding guide. So just kind of generic. And maybe you have that and I just don't know that's out there. Or, if, I know you can find it in that person's profile is where I have found it before to be able to send to them. But I just think a generic one that, we can put in our onboarding guide, onboarding folders for employees would definitely go. Even if it's just a, hey, this is what we do around Weavix. We use the Walt devices as our tool of communication. Just like a one pager, just kind of an introduction about that.
We are working on some stuff, so I know we're getting close. We'll make sure we share that with you.
Yeah.
Because you all, besides the facility, you all have to be hiring, a couple dozen people a month, I would imagine.
We have a new hire class every week.
Okay, wow.
You guys came after. It was Monday. So we have another one on Tuesday. So, yeah, we have a new hire class every week around here.
That's fantastic. Well, I'll just kind of give you a heads up. There's something conceptually in the works right now to constant education.
Oh,
For,
wow.
like, when you guys have people in. We're
Cool.
working with the dev team on doing a QR code. So when you have new people come in, again, it's all conceptual. We're working with the dev
Yeah.
team to make it possible, but
Yeah.
we'll combine a lot of footage and how-tos into the device. So when you have new people,
Wow.
they can scan that QR code. This is how you log in, and it's right there.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
so
cool.
that's down the road. We're looking maybe in 2026.
Yeah.
There's a lot of coding that goes into it.
Yeah. But
Fingers
that's
crossed.
pretty
Yeah.
cool.
With you guys having those classes every week, you guys
Yeah.
are definitely going to benefit from that.
That would be really cool.
I'm trying to think of other things we could give her to help her with collateral too.
Well, so I mean, Aaron and Briar are working on that stuff for
Oh, okay.
onboarding. So we have something more short term, like
Yes.
a month or two from
Yeah.
now, that I'll
Okay.
make sure that we. I don't want to say guinea pigs, but we'll give it to you first.
That's
And
all
get-
right.
and get
I'm
some
okay
feedback-
being guinea
and
pig.
Get some feedback on it. So we're closer to that. I know that.
Oh, yeah.
But especially for onboarding, because that's what we hear. Like, hey, I had my my 200 employees, they get it, but then I'm hiring 10 more people every month. So
Yeah.
just trying to get people up to speed.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just, the fact that when I first saw the video, about the device, it was just like, wow, we've got to really see it. If this is a true game changer for us, but it has been, a game changer for us.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
This has been so great. Just want to say thank you so much.
Oh.
Everyone we've talked to has just been such a pleasure, and just, I mean, it's like a mini city, kind of hearing everybody's responsibility, and if one thing's not working well, it impacts the whole facility. So
Yeah,
great
it's
to
amazing
see
how,
everything.
I'm glad you guys were able to see the process and